Standard Gains Podcast, episode 33, take 1.
Here we go.
Okay, so welcome, Merijn, to the podcast.
First of all, thank you guys for inviting me. Great time to be here. Been following the podcast for a while now. And obviously, I really know what you do. Haven't met you yet before, so it's really good to meet.
Who are you? Who is Merijn?
So yeah, who is Merijn? Entrepreneur, best-selling author. I've written a book called My Shredded Lifestyle. So that was 2017.
That was very impressive.
2019, sorry.
That was very impressive. I was super impressed by best-selling author. I was like, damn. People say, oh, best-selling author, I do this and that. But all the response you got and the stuff you post on your story, it was insane. How much sort of, exposure that got.
Yeah,
that was insane.
It completely exploded everything for me. So I got 4 different companies, which we'll get into in a second. Content creator.
Exactly.
So there's a lot of stuff.
Something with fitness.
Something with fitness. I'm a retired fitness model. Currently I'm going in a different path. So, we can talk about that today as well. And I've been on the Men's Health cover and I've done a lot of cool stuff. So
basically, you can know Merijn from a lot of stuff. And I would say that you've done a lot of stuff already. And for most of the people, I think you are known as a guy, student aesthetics, who started on YouTube and then became sort of the YouTube fitness entrepreneur base. I almost want to say, a lot of people will probably or have looked up or still look up at what you've done.
Well, let's start with something you said. You run 4 businesses, and we were discussing this yesterday when we were preparing. One of the feelings we have a bit is that you try and do a lot of things at the same time. And I know this issue. I've done it myself as well. Do you feel like that's sometimes holding you back to get certain results in things that you're doing? Or how is that for you?
No, that's actually a great question. Because right now I'm actually changing my focus towards one thing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't, if you're a beginner entrepreneur, you should always focus on one thing. And get really good at one thing before diversifying into all these sort of different things, right?
Exactly, yeah.
But I've already been doing this for a couple of years, So in the beginning, I only had one business, student aesthetics, and that was my pure focus, my sole focus. Then writing the book was the only focus. Started to automate a lot of processes, so I didn't have to do those things, and I could focus on one thing. But the last couple of years, it's gone a little bit crazy. I wanted to do more and different things, and also I was at a point in my life where I didn't really know where I wanted to go.
Yeah.
Right now I have a clear vision again, and when you don't have the clear vision, you're just an entrepreneur with a lot of ideas, and you just keep going and try different things, and
you have a big reach, so opportunities will keep coming.
Yeah, they will keep coming, man.
Yeah.
So if you start to say yes to everything, it's
that's
too much, man. Yeah.
Okay, so what are the businesses you have?
Right. So student aesthetics is the first one. It's still my business. So BV.
So that's the holding. Yeah.
So that's a holding. The other business is a holding as well, but it's with a business partner. So student aesthetics, let's say it's still my sponsorship deals.
Yep.
It's
YouTube,
all those kind of things. So that's still a good amount of income. The next business is 365 Brands. It's My Shredded Lifestyle falls under it. I do this together with Rowan, my business partner. He's from Limburg, from the south. We met a couple years ago. We started writing the book, and then the book just went totally crazy because we work together really well. He's the back end guy. I'm the front end guy.
Nice.
Work together so well, and we still do. And so My Shredded Lifestyle, that's the biggest company right now. We have 15 people working in the company, but not full time, just mostly freelancers, a couple people on contract. And then third business, Alter. This is a new project, and I don't know if you have probably,
exactly. So I wanted to basically ask, is that your main focus right now, or isn't it?
It's not the main focus right now. It's I've been focusing on a couple different things. This is one because it's a product. It's a little bit different. I can outsource a lot of the work.
Maybe good to explain what it is, because you guys know what it is. But
right. Okay, so it's an alcohol brand, 25% alcohol, vodka-based spirit, to be lower in calories. So it's zero sugar, but there's a lot of awesome flavors in it: ginger, lemon, lime. And we played around with these flavors for so many months to make it perfect. Cool. So this is the ultimate drink for people that want to get in shape while enjoying their life.
Yeah.
And that was always my motto. Student aesthetics, since the beginning times, was enjoy life while getting in shape. Because I saw all these bodybuilders out there doing shows and having a strict lifestyle. And I wanted to make it fun for myself while getting in shape. And so this product is kind of an idea towards that. that I got together with a business partner as well, a different partner who is really in the drink industry. So yeah, really cool.
Yeah, it fits your brand perfectly. I think.
It reminds me of maybe like 7-8 years ago when I was seriously going to the gym, playing football and partying. And the only thing we could really drink were skinny bitches. I don't know if you know that drink.
Yeah, I know.
And that's what this reminds me of.
Oh, this is like the next level version of a skinny drink. Yeah,
that's what I was going to say, because that's no taste, and this, as you say, has flavors and has a lot of other things.
So that's the third business, and then the fourth business is Maximale Potentie. So this is my first. Like this is a Dutch project. Alter is also a Dutch product. So we'll hopefully be in like the liquor stores, and so we're gonna do that in the beginning of the year, so 2022.
Oh, and maybe even expand abroad.
And exactly. Yeah.
Okay, that's a good way. That's a good sort of roadmap.
That's the goal. Yeah.
Nice.
And so the fourth business, Maximale Potentie, that's a new project in which I've been busy with entrepreneurship and personal development since 17 years old. You know, I was reading books like Think and Grow Rich at 17. Eckhart Tolle at like 19, you know, like I've been reading so much about this since a very young age, and always been busy with entrepreneurship. That's always been sort of my strength, you know. Yeah. So what you said in the beginning as well, I've also inspired a lot of people to take this on themselves, and in this case to get known in the fitness industry. So I'm going to release different courses and share information on my podcast to help people, you know, grow their business, automate their business, increase their influence. And specifically in the beginning for fitness entrepreneurs, so online personal trainers or people that aspire to do that. Because there are a lot of studies to like get your certificate, all those sort of things, but nobody really teaches you how to actually, you know, gain some followers, how to convert followers into customers. Because it doesn't really matter if you have 1 million followers, you have to be able to convert them. So you have to know how to do sales, how to do marketing. So all those things I'm going to teach people, and already doing that with like a couple people one-on-one right now.
So
like
that's
focus groups.
That's all in Dutch. It's all like
it's all in Dutch.
Yeah. That's and
the reason why is like I believe if you start something and you haven't really done it before, you know, it's just like personal training. You usually start with training people in person, and then you may go to offline. Usually it's not the other way around. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I want to really get the connection with people, coach a few people one-on-one as well. And so we'll also be doing like trainings at our office. Okay. Well, the long-term vision is obviously speaking in front of a big crowd on stage and being able to get a really cool
Okay.
Cool,
so that is the goal. That's good to know.
That is the goal. That's what I'm focusing on now. Yeah.
I think there's two things I'd like to pivot on that. So first of all, I think it's good where you say you start with one-on-one coaching. A lot of people think I want to create a course straight away because a course is scalable. I can make a shit ton of money. The issue is if you create a course straight away, you don't know what people actually want to know.
Exactly.
So working one-on-one with them, you know, and then you learn, and then you can go to other venues. So I think that's cool. Second of all, I do quite a bit of business coaching, and I have some guys come to me who are in the fitness niche who ask me, but that's super specific. I know how to help them find clients and other things when you run a business and you have a service, but I struggled helping people who have, you know, trying to build that fitness brand thing, trying to convert it to clients. So I think picking that niche and with your experience, that could be super valuable for people. And I just know like 10 guys who would be interested straight away because I've told them I can't help you because that's not my expertise. Yeah,
for sure. No, you're completely right about that. So what we're doing is indeed coaching a couple people to really also see like you can build a course, but that will only be built on your information.
Exactly.
What you think people will like to see.
Yeah.
But if you actually know what works and you've tried out with different people and you get more questions, and then you can all incorporate it in the course. So obviously at some point you have to launch the course because you cannot keep. So then you just launch it, and then you make sure along the way you still update the course. You guys do courses as well. So, I think that's what we're up to.
So those are the 4 businesses. Okay. Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff going on. Actually,
there is a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff going on. But the main focus.
The main focus, Maximale Potentie.
Exactly. Yeah. So, if people are interested and you're from the Netherlands, links to that will be in the description as well. Also to the podcast, which we'll be doing.
So you should link the podcast. The course, it doesn't exist yet. All those things, we're still working on it. The podcast is going to be awesome. It's not just for fitness entrepreneurs. The podcast really is a little bit broader than that. So I'll have a lot of different guests on there, entrepreneurs, influencers, content creators, like yourself. I'm gonna have you on there for finance tips. This is gonna be great. So all kinds of different people, also artists, DJs. Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
And,
I know
I
you're
got like a music director coming up, a film director, and so a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, I actually found that when doing this podcast, it was actually quite handy to. I'm not even the super outgoing guy, but to have sort of connections, and I know you especially have a lot. I think build up over the past few years. Because when did you start YouTube?
I started YouTube when I was 19. Yeah,
so that has been 20.
Yeah, because you're 26 now, right?
I'm 26.
Yeah, 7 years ago.
I started in 2015, I'd say.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's a lot. Like that's a lot of years of growing and also getting to know a lot of people. So I know you have some connections with, I think, headhunters, which is in the music niche, for example. So there's a lot of different niches. So I think that could be very beneficial.
Yeah,
for
there's
you.
a lot of different niches, and then there's also a lot of international connections. Since I've been doing everything in English, and I'm sponsored by Alpha Lead, so I go to the US very often, and there's all these different people that I've met from all around the world. So I'm going to do the podcast in Dutch, but I'll also have international guests on there.
Oh,
you know what I mean? So I want to,
Okay.
Because most Dutch people speak English anyway. So I think it'll be cool to like get a Dutchie to do the interviews with English-speaking people.
Yeah.
So you started your YouTube in 2015. Maybe good to go back. Why did you start initially?
Yeah, so at the time I was, I finished college. I was studying. I studied first. I did international business and management because the name sounded cool. I was like, this sounds pretty cool, man. And I only lasted for like 7 or 8 weeks, And during this time, I was 17, I think, 18. I was just so focused on fitness. I was thinking about fitness all day, about my new bench press PR, about my meals that I wanted to eat. And so I had to go to school, and like it took so much time, and I also wanted to prep my meals and live this strict lifestyle. So I started like skipping class a little bit because of the gains in the gym. And I was like a little bit like, over enthusiastic. So that study didn't really work out. And then I tried, half a year later, I tried marketing and sales, commerciële economie. I was on this study for 2 years, and I was just like getting by. It was the same thing. I just picked the study because that's the normal thing to do.
Yeah.
That's what people expect of you, what your parents expect of you. It's the normal path. So I just followed the normal path. I just had to pick something. So I did this, but while I was on the study, I realized that, there was a different world out there. And this is, when I started reading Think and Grow Rich and all these different books about leadership, about personal development, about entrepreneurship, about all these different things.
Yeah.
Tony Robbins, and I got so inspired by all these guys, and they were talking about completely different things that we were learning in school. Even though I was on a study supposed to teach you about marketing and sales, I wasn't really learning the stuff that I was learning in the books and that I was reading there, and all the inspiration, and mostly the mindset, which I think is so interesting. Because at the end of the day, the success all comes down to having the mindset. If I didn't have the mindset and I just had the tools or the skills, those things are important. But without the mindset, you're never going to execute. You're never going to believe in yourself. So I started really focusing on those things. And those things you don't learn in school,
Yep.
And during this time, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos. I was watching Chris Jones was the first guy I was watching, Christian Guzman. And now I'm friends with these guys. It's insane. I'm friends with Christian and Chris Jones. I met a couple years ago, and we were taking shots in the club. And then I was just like, I'm here with this guy. He was the first guy I watched on YouTube, and now we're here doing shots and getting fucked up. This is amazing.
Life.
This is life, But it's like 7 years, 6 years later, It's
that's crazy.
It takes a long time. So I started watching these videos, and I got so I was obsessed with fitness and with watching these videos and these vlogs and this lifestyle that they created for themselves. And I was just picturing myself living that lifestyle. And I was at some point I started, visualizing it every single day. When I was laying in bed, I didn't realize what visualization was back then, but I actually did it.
Think and Grow Rich.
Well, I knew that a little bit, but I didn't completely grasp the concept.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Right now, I know everything about it, but back then I didn't. This was before I even read the book.
Oh,
and then when I read the book, I was like, "Holy shit! I'm already doing some of these things." So I started visualizing that, like how did it feel? What people am I going to be around? And all those things, they exactly happened years later. So it took about 1.5 years of uploading videos 3 times a week while I was on the study. And back then, like, you're not getting recognition, you know, you're happy with like 2 or 3 YouTube comments, from which one is a hate comment. And then a couple comments, you make accounts yourself.
Great video, man.
I honestly think that you do that the first couple of videos. Yeah. So we've all been there.
I mean, when I started in 2013, I think I created just other accounts to sort of push the sort of algorithm there. At least I didn't even, like you said, I didn't
those
even
5
grasp the
views would
concept.
make a big difference.
Yeah, like,
or just get a few likes. Or
get a few likes, just get the video started. So yeah, definitely.
Exactly.
That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah, man. So 1.5 years of just uploading videos, and it was fun. Like I like doing it. So it wasn't something like I need to be successful at this. I need to make money. Obviously, that is, you know, still a long-term goal, and that's something that I wanted. But I was studying for 4 years, and I had the idea, like, if I finish my studies, perhaps after those 4 years, I can continue my own path. Yeah. So I had 4 years to learn, you know, to learn YouTube, to learn about business, because I also, at the time, started building my website and online coaching and all those things.
Because when did it start to sort of really grow? Like, you started uploading in 2015, 16?
Yeah, so 2015, and in the end of 2016, that's when it started taking off, because one video went viral. And so at that time, I had posted about 100 videos, and one of them went viral. It got 1 million views.
Was it a diet? Was it a student diet video?
I think it was my transformation video. Yeah,
we could have guessed.
We could have guessed that, actually.
Obviously. And then I also have some eating challenges and stuff that went viral. Yeah.
Oh yeah, so that
happened a couple of the years later.
Yeah, but I mean, if you, like you said, you're doing it because you like it. If you wouldn't have liked it, you wouldn't have continued for 100 videos without getting one single viral video.
I think that's also what you've said so many times. If you start YouTube because you think I'll make money, then you will never, ever make it.
No.
Because
you will not make money at all.
You'll give up.
You will give up, yeah.
But so maybe cool to go back. You actually almost already said this. So you said I was watching Guzman and those guys, and then I, met up with them. And I think you're really the example of how, believing in what you will be able to achieve. So visualization and other things, right? In short, what visualization also does is your subconscious mind starts to take action in order to achieve the goals, as you know.
Reticular activating system.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's a great example of, I think, how you can actually make things happen rather than wishing for things to happen. And that leads to my question. So what are the things you're visualizing right now? What are your next steps? What is where you really want to be going in the next years?
Yeah. I just want to help other entrepreneurs build their career. And in this case, as I'm saying already, I believe it's all about the mindsets to really make them believe in themselves, Because I think not enough people believe in themselves. And I think I can really make a big difference in that. I've noticed over the years, what people like about me most is that I'm able to inspire them in a way, because I lead by example. And like, I don't tell people like, this is what you need to do or that. I believe it's all about the right intention. And if people really can grasp that idea and I can change their mindset, they can change their life, So what am I visualizing right now? So that that's helping those people help build other careers. I think that's going to be so amazing.
Give them the right mindset.
Give them the right mindset to help them achieve their goals. In this case, build a successful fitness business so they can also live the life that I'm living, that I literally dreamed of. And I didn't have anyone to look up to to learn from back in the day. Maybe there were, I don't think anyone was releasing those kind of courses or doing those things. So it's like a new world. And I've always really believed in mentors. And so I want to be a mentor to other people right now. So how am I seeing this? It's going to be different things. So one-on-one coaching. Later thing that I'm visualizing now, as I said, is standing in front of a big stage with people, because that is one of the things that frightens me the most as well.
Right.
I've done like a TEDx talk.
I wanted to say
I've done different things, standing in front of people, and bro, it's
not your thing. Or
you've done a TED talk,
TEDx talk,
and I've seen that. I actually think you did a pretty decent job.
Thanks, man. I like now, like it's a couple years later, I didn't prepare that talk. It was just like straight from the heart. This is what I'm saying. Like I believe with the right intention, I'm really able to share a powerful message. because I didn't really like have a script in my head. I didn't even have a presentation, and maybe I should have. Right now looking back on it, I could have done so many things better. But even though it was still great. It was still great because I got my intention across, and I was able to inspire people with my story. But it's for me, it's truly terrifying.
You said that as well, and then I think when you shared that online, people like you said how scared you were, and you could see it a little bit, but I think you sort of flowed into it, and you eventually ended off pretty well, I think. People liked it. I'm pretty sure. It's on YouTube still. For those who want to see. Okay, so there you go. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, and I think it's funny how you say you want to be able to help people. I know from experience that once they actually achieve those things, that makes me feel so great, right? I don't really care about the money that they've paid me. It's just so cool to actually see someone. At some point, I sometimes said, like, it's like the spark in their eyes, like they start getting it. They start getting what you have to do. They start getting how important the mindset is. And that's amazing. I, for example, personally decided I will only do one-on-one. I'm not going to do a course because I think especially in finance and in sort of a growing business, I believe in the tailored approach. But I think for you, especially because your business is relatively big, I think it makes sense to
it makes sense
to go to a
you
course.
can only coach so many people one-on-one.
Exactly, it's not scalable.
So I'll still be able to do it, but people will have to pay a lot more money, because your time is worth more money. And so with courses, you're able to help people with a little bit of it's still being an investment, but much less than the one-on-one.
Oh, yeah.
So I feel like offering both, so that both people, the ones who are just starting out and the ones who are a little bit further, maybe are already earning like 5,000 or 10,000 a month, can help them scale. And those that don't have a business yet, I can help them for like a cheaper price to get started. And then once they're on a higher level, we can work again. But as you say, like coaching is something I love because I've always been coaching people with fitness. And so now I'm basically going to do the same thing, but I'm going to coach people with business. So it's been experience that I've been building up for the last 7-8 years. Because before I never thought I was the right guy to do that. I didn't have enough, like I was too young. I didn't have enough experience, and I'm still pretty young. But first, a couple of years ago, I was thinking like I'm going to start this at around like when I'm 30 years old, and I'm 27. But I just had a really dark period in my life, which we can talk about as well. Which I hit a point of burnout. Mainly because I was doing something that I didn't really like anymore. So I was still in the fitness industry, helping people get in shape. And like I love helping people, but I've done that for so many years, helping people get in shape and sharing fitness tips. And I just started to get bored. I started to get bored by it and making the same videos over and over again, making the vlogs. And I just started to get bored, and then it started to cost a lot of energy, And during the day, I would never when I was 19 years old, I would always talk with people about, how do I grow my chest? What should I eat after my workout? And like years later, I'm only talking about business with people. If people like, there will be guys going when I'm on a festival, they will be asking me like, yo, Merijn, it's so good that I see you. Should I do like 4 sets or 3 sets in the gym? And I'm like, we're on a festival.
And back in the day, you would be the same. But
back in the day, I would be the same. I would love that shit, And like, I still love training. I still love all these things. But what I love more about it is the mindset that you need to have in order to get in shape. And like I always talk with people about mindset or business, and not really about training anymore. So
I have kind of the same thing with YouTube. I feel like when I go somewhere, I mean, I'm interested in training and growing and everything. But when I prefer talking about YouTube and growing there and analytics and stuff like that. That's more my stuff. And if then they're like asking, I mean, obviously people asking about that is super niche because there's not someone going on a festival wherever you are going, hey, by the way, what was the CTR on that thumbnail? Like, what the fuck? That's not gonna happen.
That would be you at a party.
That would be me. What's CTR on that thumbnail? Like, how is that going? I would be interested in that, but not like I mean, training is probably more a better way to sort of start a conversation, I guess, as well. If that's they want to,
You talk a lot about mindset, and I agree that that's super important. I always feel that people who've been going to the gym, very, very seriously, they already have a certain mindset that will help them in business. Because sometimes you don't feel like going to the gym, it sucks, it hurts, but you still want to go. Business is very much the same. Do you see that same thing? And do you also, use that when you coach people?
Hell yeah. This is like the first realization I made. Actually, that I even made, like how to accomplish my dreams. The only reason I was even like thinking I could do those things was because of fitness.
Exactly.
Because that was the first thing in my life where like I wasn't really too good at school. And so this was the first thing in my life that I was actually pretty good at, you know? I set a goal for myself. I would just execute it every single day. And it just took a long time, but then I actually saw the results, you know? So it's putting in the work for a very like long-term gain, you know? And so many people nowadays all about short-term gain, instant gratification, and what training really teaches you those principles of having self-discipline. You know, go into the gym, even on those days that you don't feel like it, making sure you eat your meals, do what you say you were going to do, you know, be accountable to your own word to yourself. And I think that's the ultimate mindset that you can have in life.
Yeah,
you know,
agreed.
so from fitness, I took that to business, and that's how I was able to start my business, because I believed in myself now. Because I've proven to myself so many times, like, Merijn, when you say you're going to do something, you'll make it happen. So if you say you're going to build this business, you'll make it happen. You start to believe in yourself, you know?
You will see a big difference when working together with people who work out consistently, are very, very good at what they're doing in workout as well. You see difference if you work with someone similar to that, but they're not working out.
Yeah.
I feel like personally with most of the people, I mean, there's still a lot of people that don't work out super consistently or they don't work out at all. And I've worked together with them and it was amazing. But I've also like... It's very rare for me to have like someone who's super dedicated in gym, works out 4 or 5 times a week, eats the right meals to get some bad work back from them or get something back from them that sucks. It's completely mindset.
I've seen it with the students I've worked with. All the really, really successful ones have all been going to the gym for a long time as well and been serious about that. Like all of them.
That's awesome.
So that's pretty cool. Even though it wasn't a fitness mentorship.
So do you also advise them to like go to the gym or?
Well, I do advise a lot about peak performance, productivity, and part of that is, you know, the number one most important thing is your environment, biology, and then mindset. By the way, I think it's the third one. The easy example there is, for example, if you want to tell someone to lose weight, you can either train your mindset not to get the chocolate, or you just fix your environment and don't have chocolate, right? So those kind of things. But 100%. Like move, work out, it's super important.
We talked about your journey, about why you started YouTube, fitness, and we've also talked about all your businesses. We've talked about goals, but I mean, that's a lot of stuff, a lot of work. And recently something happened. Also, you stopped uploading on YouTube. You took a break. You had a burnout, right? What happened? Like, I think this is super important to talk about.
Yeah, so I think the last couple of years, I was already struggling a little bit with like mental health problems. And it started with just having some stress during the day. And that stress started to build up for a long period of time. Something also happened in my life that I don't really talk about on camera, but something in my personal life. And so all those things together combined with like doing as much work as I was doing, it just led to me like having chronic stress. And at some point, like the last year especially, I was really asking myself, like, where do I want to go? And I felt like I lost my direction. So one part of it is just expending way too much energy, also saying yes to everything, you know, so taking all the opportunities, so doing way too much stuff, having new responsibility in my business with Maestro Lifestyle because we were growing a team. So I had to take on a leadership role in the business, but at the same time, I was still doing all the old stuff that I was doing. So I was still making the same YouTube videos, Instagram, like doing social media, doing all those things.
So working in the business and on the business at the same time.
Exactly, basically. I was doing it all at the same time, you know. But I didn't want to give up something to do the next thing, you know. And so I didn't realize that I needed to really own up to my role, you know. And I've realized that now, but back then I didn't. So I was really stuck into just every day, just stress and just fixing problems and just, you know, just living life like that. And that took a pretty long time. I got some ups and downs, and then in August, like it started to become worse by the day. Literally by the day. And I also realized that I didn't want to do like the fitness videos any longer. So back then I decided like the next month I'm going to switch my focus. This month I'm going to continue because I just had a couple projects left, etc. This month I'm going to continue. Next month I took a vacation first and I was like, now for the next month I'm going to work and then I'm going to do something else. And this month just destroyed me, man. Like every single day, I was like counting down the days until it was next month. And I've never lived my life like that. It's not what I signed up for. You know, I created like the life of my dreams to to end up in this. And then I was like, holy shit, what's happening, you know? But I was so into it that like I saw no escape, you know, and that there was no escape basically. Well, mentally, I didn't feel like it. I could have pulled the plug, but I didn't. Until eventually I got panic attacks, and then I got those like every single day. And it started with light flashes during the day. When I would walk into a room, I would see like bright lights like going flickering like this, and the flickering got really bad at some point. And I was like, I'm getting vision issues, like I'm becoming blind or whatever. Like it started to become crazier and crazier. And then I started getting panic attacks. And at that stage, I realized I completely broke down. I realized like I literally couldn't do anything anymore. So that's what's considered the burnout. You know, that's what the doctor then calls it. Burnout it's a pretty subjective term. It's not medically, like I'm not sure if you can prove someone has it or whatever. But whatever it was, like I hit the wall. You know, I couldn't go any longer. And then I had to stop everything that I was doing.
I feel like that because it sounds like you created the life of your dreams. You work on 100 different projects. You work hard every single time. Hustle. It's going great. But to talk about this as well in terms of like, hey, you are an inspiration for a lot of people. But this is also part of life. Like, watch yourself. Look at what you're doing and make sure you can actually do it in the long run. Again, talking about the short-term gains, like you can hustle for maybe like a few weeks, but if you're going to continue this for a year, you're not going to be doing the same thing in a year.
How many hours a week were you working, do you think?
I mean, I think like 100 hours a week for a long time, and I don't even think that's a problem. You know, if you like what you're doing and you're really passionate about it, I was doing that for a long time. Yeah, and then but like there was never also like
the balance is gone.
Balance was gone. Yeah. But I didn't really, things started to feel like work at some point. And that's something I wasn't in the beginning. It was all fun. And I think it's a logical part of also growing a little bit, becoming older and having more responsibility, is that, you know, in the beginning, everything like with social media, like this fame, you can do anything and just party all the time. And I was living that lifestyle for also partying a lot, you know, so I did that way too much excessively as well. That also didn't help with, you know, my mental state, going to festivals and getting really messed up. And
I mean, maybe that was some sort of escape and could have helped.
It was an escape. Yeah. It was an escape. And in the beginning it helped, but then I started doing it way too much. Yeah. Or started partying for like 2 weeks straight, you know, going to Vegas for 2 weeks or going to Ibiza and just 2 weeks straight and then go straight back into work and doing things.
Yeah.
And so the balance was missing at some point.
You said about, you know, okay, something happened in your personal life. We're not going to go into that. But do you think as a result, maybe you were also hiding it to working even more because something was happening in your personal life?
Right, yeah. Using it as escape.
Yeah. I think that's something a lot of people struggle with, right? And it makes sense because if something shit happens, you can either, you know, spend time and energy on it, but maybe there's nothing you can do to fix it anyway. Or you can hide from it and you run away from it and just bury yourself in work, but that's going to hit you twice as hard.
I actually did that, for a while. Yeah.
I think that's also maybe a good learning moment for people, but it's so recognizable. I've done it myself as well. It's so easy.
How did it go for you?
Not too good. Yeah. So I didn't get into a burnout, but there were things happening, and at some point I decided, okay, I have to make a choice. I actually went abroad for a while. Just away from everything. And I think you can't hide you have to deal with shit at some point.
Yeah.
And for me, it took years to speak with the person it was about. It's also something I don't speak about on camera.
Right.
But it took me years and years to realize that I never fixed it. I never, you know, I'd been running away from it.
Yeah.
And only after dealing with it, as much as I could, at least, I felt like, okay, I can move on, sort of. So it's freeing, I think.
Actually, I read this book. It could be a recommendation to some people. Brené Brown, you guys know her?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Power of Vulnerability, I think the book is called. It's an amazing book. That opened my eyes as well, because that was a world that I didn't know, you know?
Yeah.
And vulnerable, like some people also like call me out on this stuff. So we can get into that in a second, but the TRT thing, when I came out about it, now people started making videos, and then I read the comments, and it's just like, oh, Merijn is such a whining bitch, and he's just like, because I had a burnout, and then I had this, because I talk about my problems, you know, and I'm I'm vulnerable in a way because I could also not say anything about it, you know. But I'm putting myself out there and sharing the vulnerable parts, and then people will always, you know, they will try to hit you on that sometimes as well. You also get a lot of amazing response from an amazing connection with people that you wouldn't get otherwise. And for a long period, I was hiding all the things that happened in my life from everybody, so nobody knew what I was going through. Not my parents, not my girl, like no one. And because I didn't speak about it, you know, I just I couldn't be vulnerable back then, you know. Once I learned that, it really changed my life, you know.
You can get like you have the opposite in terms of people saying, "Oh, you're a whining bitch, you're this, you're that," but you built the strongest community by being vulnerable. Like you built the strongest ever, and that is well, I mean, like that's just good to be vulnerable.
Yeah. Plus, I think it aligns with your message as well. So you show that you're human. Right. So because a lot of people, because earlier you said in the podcast today is that so many people these days are looking for the instant gratification, the fast ways. And they do that because they see this perfect life on Instagram and on social media from people. That's not true. And by you showing that, hey, it has ups and downs, there's struggles, it's not going to be overnight success. You sort of show what you actually want to be teaching as well in your business. So I think that also aligns, and it's a good message.
Yeah, so I think that's a great message. That's the reality, but it doesn't always sound too sexy, and perhaps sometimes, like some people, it might sound like whining when you are very successful, making a lot of money, and you complain about your problems. So that's why for years I never talked to anyone about my problems. I didn't talk to my friends about it because I felt like I'm making so much money, I'm successful. They all, you know, they were all saying that all the time to me, and then I felt like I couldn't share my personal problems, because my problems were not big enough, you know? That's something that I really thought back then,
Are you happy with that you shared everything? Or?
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Yeah? Okay, that's good to know.
How did you solve the problem of the burnout? Maybe there's some value there for people as well.
So first thing is you gotta take complete rest, you know? And so because I have all my different businesses, that was difficult. You know, and a lot of people thought that I would still be doing a couple things, but I couldn't do anything anymore. I saw that was the best way to get out of this, by eliminating everything. You know, that's also what the doctor obviously advised me to do. And so that's the first thing. First, I slept for 2 weeks, 15 hours every single day.
2 weeks.
And so that's how fucked up my body was. I went to the gym again, like during those 2 weeks. I started training, and like afterwards, I just couldn't walk anymore. My legs were just so sore, like they were sore in a really bad way, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So in a bad way. And so I wasn't ready to train even. So my body and my mind were completely shut down. So first, take a lot of rest. And then psychologist, super important. So that's something I would recommend to everybody. You know, you cannot do it alone. Yeah. So you need some professional help. And they can really help you with changing patterns in your life, you know, and even realizing that those patterns exist. Because the problem was something was structurally going wrong in my life, and I needed to figure out the things that were causing it, you know. So a part of it is making sure that now I don't focus on too many things at the same time in the future. And I'm just going to focus on really what I love again, because that's how I started, you know, and I lost that. I lost that feeling, you know, so I wasn't really in alignment with what I truly wanted deep down. And I think that really led to this period. So what I did was just don't work, pick up my social contacts as well. So first, obviously, only like family and really close friends, but also start having more social gatherings, because I didn't have this much, you know. It's just you're probably the same. It's just you're working with kinds of people around you, so that's cool. But you're just probably with the same people a lot, right?
Yeah,
the people that you work with. Yeah. So I felt like my social circle also, and it's not a bad thing that it's small, but it's fun to like also, you know.
Sometimes it's fun to say yes to, hey, let's go to this birthday that I normally don't go to.
Just something without an outcome, you know? Because I was like...
Everything had a purpose.
Everything had a purpose, you know? Yeah. It's just like everything has a goal. And why not do something that doesn't have a goal, you know? So I started to live my life way more intentionally like that. Meditation has helped me so much, you know? So I've been doing that like every day for about a year now. And during my burnout, like even more, like meditating twice a day and doing different sorts of meditations. So that is definitely my biggest tip. Meditation is super big. And I went to a yoga and meditation retreat also. So this was a couple of weeks after the burnout. So I went there on my own for a week, shut off my phone. And before that, I also already deleted Instagram and all those things. I actually got a new phone, a different one, so that my business phone, my girlfriend had it. She picked up a lot of my work.
Oh, yeah, I got a message from you.
That's amazing. Yeah. You got a message from her, yeah. Yeah, she picked it up. She picked it all up, and she did all those things and arranged that everything was canceled, and things went well. So yeah, it's I was lucky to have the right people around me, and obviously my parents, my brother, and my friends that support me. Without those people around you, it can be very, very lonely, and you don't want to see people when it happens. So I was also hiding a bit. You just want to not be seen by anybody.
Yeah.
In the beginning, I couldn't go outside because I would just panic all the people walking there. So and I've never been claustrophobic or anything. I would just go nuts. Just seeing, I would feel like everybody's staring at me, And so it's crazy.
I mean, now you're here. How long ago was this?
Yeah, so I'm actually sort of back a little bit sooner than I thought. I'm a passionate guy. So at some point it's like just being here now by myself and not doing anything. I'm not sure if this is still helping me recover, because you can lay on the couch for many months and watch Netflix, and the days go by and it feels good. It's easy. But I don't feel like that really solves the problem at some stage. It's obviously different for everybody. Like if you have an actual depression, it's obviously way different. Yeah. But in this case, a burnout, I think it really has to do with certain patterns in your life. And once you've taken enough rest, which I did for 2 to 3 months, after that, I started building up my hours again, very slowly. So first it's working for 1 hour a day. Then it's working 2 hours a day for a week. So it's very slowly building it up.
2 to 3 months, because I feel like 1 month of doing nothing, or 2 months, that's a long time. At least
for a burnout, 2-3 months is not that long.
No,
yeah,
it's not.
For burnout, it's not that long. But for me,
I can imagine.
So for me, it felt like a year.
Yeah. Exactly, I can imagine. Because for me, if I would do nothing a month long, although even though you need it, at some point when you're feeling a little bit better, you're like, okay, so now it's been a month. Maybe I should start doing some stuff, but no, I'm just gonna wait. But then a month goes by, I think, but that's a long time. So especially for you, probably.
Yeah, but it's pretty crazy because life stops, and you also realize how fast it's been going all this time, and it's actually nuts.
Yeah,
So the month when you don't do nothing and you have to burn it, the month flies by in a way. It's not like in the beginning you don't want to work, so you just want to get through the day, and I don't know, the you don't really realize. You're like, wow, a month passed by already. How could I have done so much in such a little period of time? Making so many videos, doing this, doing that, taking this opportunity, going to shoes, going to different countries, flying all over. How did I do that for so long? And it's really I was on a peak performance level for a long time, but I didn't give myself enough rest
which is a big
mental
part of
rest
peak
and physical rest. Yeah.
But I think the good thing about your story is you didn't just try and fix the symptoms, which was the burnout, but you really looked into, okay, what patterns did I have? So the underlying issue. And I think that's very important to sort of point out, that it's easy to just look at symptoms with anything you can have, right? But always try and figure out why did this happen and then fix that before going back into the same routine, because you'd be back at the next burnout in 6 months or 2 years or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I think
you got to change your behavior.
Yeah. I think it's time to move to a bit of TRT. And we don't have to go too much. So a few days prior to us recording this, you actually, said that you stopped using it and it's been a mistake.
You came out.
You sort of came out. I want to make a little bridge here about the entrepreneur world, because you've approached this from a fitness world. I hit the plateau and I tried other things. What really shocks me, not in your story, but in general, is in the entrepreneur world, how many people at a very young age are speaking about taking TRT right now. I actually had a call with a really successful 18-year-old entrepreneur a few weeks ago, and he asked if I was taking TRT. I don't, and he said, because I'm looking into it to start using it in a few years, because it will help you, just like microdosing. The whole stigma seems to be gone around it, and I do think it has quite some negative drawbacks. What maybe... Well, it's a long question, but maybe the story, what do you think about that?
I believe in that as well, and I think I've given a wrong example in this case, and this is why I'm also coming out and telling people that I gave the wrong example. I made a mistake, And the reason I got into it, I was pretty lost at the time.
Yeah.
And this actually has to go back to what you just said about not dealing with the symptoms, but like doing it in a different way. So with mental health, if you don't fix the symptoms, the same thing I did sort of with TRT. It was not just for training purpose. It was also for the entrepreneur. I knew a lot of entrepreneurs were doing it as well. So it would help me with having more energy, being able to, continue the work that I was doing.
Have that hunger drive. That's what we
have that hunger drive. And I did have very low testosterone levels, but then also I wasn't resting that much, and I wasn't taking my time to perhaps boost those levels up to a bigger number.
Being shredded,
and
right.
I was getting trained, and it was like life was going so fast. There were so many opportunities, and I really didn't like training anymore. So I felt pretty lost. I hit my natural limit, after 10 years of lifting. Yep. And so it's quite a normal route to go in the fitness industry. Once you reach your natural limit, perhaps you're going to do it. But it was a mistake, and I should not have done it. And afterwards, what took me, I've been on it for almost 1.5 years, and it did solve some of the, let's say, the symptoms in the beginning. So training was more fun again. Yep. But then I also hit a plateau again, of course, and then you have to keep taking more and more. And it's probably the same as using Adderall to work longer hours or whatever. At some point you have to more and more and more. Yep. And like, when is enough, And so I think that's what I sort of realized. And I was like, shit, I made a mistake,
That was that has to be a hard decision to sort of own up to that mistake and be like, damn, what I did is
first
wrong.
For myself, because there will also be comments about people thinking he was lying, or he was saying this, or he was saying that. Back then I made a video coming out of TRT, and I was just sharing what I thought back then, what I believed, And so the reasons that I started taking it, I started sharing all those things. And now looking back at my younger self, I'm like, Merijn, this was not proper, this is not right. And now I have a different opinion. And then people are like, he changes his opinion. I think like what a real man does is always learn more and own up to his mistakes, and I'm not going to be the same guy 5 years from now. So I might do things right now that in 5 years I think like, oh my God, like I always, like when you watch old videos back. Yeah. It's always like, you make mistakes. And in this case, it's a pretty big mistake also because it's with the health factors, and then also sort of the wrong, perhaps, message that I got out to people, although I didn't normalize it. So back then when I started taking it, I came out and I said, like, this is not something I recommend. You have to realize that I've been training for so long. This is my life. I make a lot of money with this as well. So my incentive is a lot different than the average person, like we all know that the Hollywood actors also take steroids, but I would use all those things to convince myself, to justify myself, and now I've realized during this burnout, I've realized like, Merijn, it's a pattern in your life, the TRT, the same pattern that you were doing with other things. And it's sort of using something to fight symptoms instead of actually solve the problems, And so I feel like right now I want to try and naturally raise, that's what I'm going to do now, naturally raise my levels.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask. Yeah. How are you going to do that?
Well, first of all, my levels have to come back to normal. That's the first step. So I'm going through this period right now. It's called PCT, post-cycle therapy. So it's certain medicines you use, supplements after, TRT or using steroids to gain your natural testosterone levels back, your testosterone production back. So this can take somewhere, like it's different for everybody, but it can take like 3 months. That's the shortest period, I guess. It'll probably take like 6 months, maybe even a year to really get back to those levels. And then I hope that with my new lifestyle, with more rest, having like I have an assistant now, I have all these people working in my company, I can delegate more tasks. I hope to be able to work a little bit less, have more balance, and then I think that my levels will naturally increase also by trying out different diets, different supplements. There are many things that I could have tried out that I didn't try out.
Proper sleep. Proper sleep is important, of course.
Exactly, proper sleep. I sleep a lot more now. I also TRT, like I would sleep less. That probably wouldn't even help, I would just, and so right now I sleep like 9 hours a day, I feel pretty good, even though I'm recovering now and I have like no testosterone levels right now. I mentally feel pretty like, okay. And so that's it's surprising in a way.
That's pretty good, and I would say for you're
it might get worse in the next coming weeks. I don't know.
Exactly. So you're feeling pretty good right now. Also in terms of obviously you're taking things slow, which is good. But you still feel that drive, and you sound motivated.
Yeah,
you
wouldn't say it that you're.
I still am. Yeah.
You sound very very like motivated in terms of these new goals. Maximale potentie, the new business as well. You're looking forward to that. So I would say, I mean, right now it looks like it was the right decision, but I mean,
have you looked into red light therapy for hormone production? So you have, when I lived in London, I had something called a Juve. It's basically every day 15 minutes you stand in front of a big red light thing, completely naked. So I used to meditate in front of it because I had to spend 15 minutes meditating anyway, and it boosts natural production of testosterone. It's basically the same as if you would go outside and walk in natural air and sunlight for an hour. First thing in the morning.
Did it help?
I think so, yes. I mainly also did because I have something called vitiligo, which is a skin disease. And it said also, so it definitely helped for that. And
I thought it helped for ADD or for ADHD or
there's a lot of
something else.
Yeah, they keep proving more and more things that it's helping for, but it's mainly testosterone. I know most young guys who use it is testosterone production.
That's cool.
In the entrepreneur world, but I don't want to put you onto. But this is like a natural thing. This is like
it's a next level like thing, and it's quite expensive.
I'm gonna try everything. But like once my levels are first normal,
don't influence it. Period.
You need to.
So like right now, I am way lower. So I'm imagining now how great I'll be once I because I'm actually super low on energy, but I still I'm really, like as you say, I'm motivated. I'm passionate because I'm really like doing all these new things again that I'm excited about. And I lost that fire a little bit ago. And like it drives me so much, you know? So that's how I was able to work 100 hours a week. Now it's not that many hours, but the thinking process is still, it's just a lot of hours.
You're always switched on basically.
And so I'm super motivated. And I feel like if you have the right mindset, you can place yourself out of your thoughts. Obviously meditation and spiritual practices that I've been doing, it's teach me those principles, and now I feel like it was so important that I learned that over the last couple of years, and now I can reap the benefits from it. And the burnout was also so heavy that right now this feels like, it feels like it's not comparable in terms of how heavy it is. So I'm still happy that it's going better than it was. So this is why, in terms of timing, like I did this right after I recovered from
that's interesting,
and I'm still recovering from my burnout, but right after. Also, because I don't want to be gone for super long, so I didn't want to make my comeback now and like have everybody in my team expect me to be back, and then in a couple months drop testosterone and go through this low period again. I don't want to have these highs and lows in my life, so I want to like get all the lows out of the way right now, and then hopefully surf on a high for the rest of my life.
I mean, that's a good approach, I would say. I mean, you right after you sort of recovered, or you are recovering from the burnout, you dropped the TRT.
Recovered. When are you recovered? It's hard to say.
Like you're so
after like 12 weeks or a little bit more.
So not like at the same time, obviously. But
you should not do that.
No, exactly. Because that's what I want to say. So you go for the low, and then you're searching up another new low. But it's more like low and
then I was already back to like medium.
Low,
okay.
Exactly. I would say it's a good approach. I mean, we'll see how you feel maybe. That's
the question.
So how is then the plan? Will you be doing like testing regularly how your testosterone are, so you can actually see the impact of different things you're trying, or what's the plan there?
So I have a private doctor that I work with here in the Netherlands, and we do all the blood work and see how it's going. And now the blood work is you cannot really follow it because it's still recovering. But in a couple of weeks, when I quit the PCT, we can really see how my natural production is going to pick it up, and then we'll do tests like every 3 weeks, I believe, and then see from there.
The first thing that comes to mind when you, I'm not sure how much you want to talk about how this went, but like when you have a burnout, you have so many businesses, so much stuff going on. How did that move on? How did that go in terms of, everything, financially, revenue-wise? Did the business move on? What collapsed?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty like lucky in that sense, but it's not really luck. It's something I've been building towards for many years. So back in the day, I did online coaching all by myself, and then My Shredded Lifestyle, I was still the only coach. Then started hiring Stan, not this Stan. Stan the man. So Stan is my best friend, and he's been helping me out since the beginning. So when I was 19, he was filming me in the gym on my phone. Then he started packaging student aesthetic shirts. Then he started, coaching people, and now he's manager in the company. So he manages the new coaches that we've been hiring. So now we have coaches working for My Shred Lifestyle. We have the whole business model running. My business partner took over some things of me, and I'm mostly the marketing and the sales guy as well. So they could run without me. Obviously, they had a harder time and it was more difficult, but the business was still going on even though I was gone, and that's pretty amazing. Yeah. So that was something that I worked towards for so many years, because it was always like, I want to be coached by Merijn. Merijn. It always had to be my name. And going from that to making My Shredded Lifestyle a separate brand, that was a big process. And so we have amazing coaches now. They get their clients amazing results. At some point, if you're coaching alone, you cannot take on more people. Yep. And then the quality will go down. So it's better to have some representatives in the company that we all share the same vision. Everybody, obviously, as a coach, has a little bit of the differences in approach, which is good because it adds the personal aspect. But yeah, so by growing the team, I was able to go away for a bit. And I mean, Alter has not been doing that well in terms of how much we've been active, So we still made sales, we still launched the product. And the reason we launched was to just get it out anyway, because it's more of a long-term project. So very often with projects, I'm like, I want the hype to be perfect. I want it to, but then you make a lot of sales in the first day, and then sometimes it goes down afterwards. And so with this, my business partner was like, you know what, we'll just release it. It doesn't really matter. We have the stock anyway. We already sell a couple, and so some people are already trying them out. Some people already love it. Start telling their friends. So something already happens, even though it may not be. Like, I haven't even promoted it yet, So that storm still has to come. And we decided to still go on with it, and that's actually been going great. People love the product, so I'm sure once I start pushing it now, it's gonna really go hard. And then we go into the liquor stores and do those things later. So it's making a bit of adaptations here and there, and just also you have to accept that, acceptance, but it's difficult. Because obviously no YouTube income, but for me though, it wasn't relatively much compared to what I make, so it doesn't really matter that much. But it's still, it's still something. That went away. Sponsor deals. Obviously, I didn't get any new sponsor deals now because I'm not posting on Instagram or not on YouTube.
But I mean, there are contracts, and people may expect some stuff, but I think they probably also supported you.
Yeah, so I work with amazing companies. So that's something that I've always done over the years. I've never been a sellout, if you want to call it. I had my period where I was like pushing a lot of different stuff, but it was always products that I was standing behind. But the last couple of years, I haven't really done that much anymore, and I've just been focusing on my own businesses because that's more of a long-term gain, right? So I've just been focusing on that, and then really working with companies that I love. My Protein, I love that company. I've been using their supplements since I started lifting, and I've been working with My Protein for, I think, 6 years. 5 or 6 years. I've been probably one of the longest athletes there. Yeah. With Alphalete, I was also one of the first athletes. So Alphalete Athletics is based in Houston, Texas. Christian Guzman is the owner, really amazing guy. And he was the guy that I was looking up to when I started watching YouTube videos.
And now you work together.
And now we work together, and it's really, really amazing. He's launching Alpha Land very soon. So this is it's a massive project.
That's insane.
Yeah, so, and the borders are open now, I think, to the US again. So I can visit, and I'm super stoked for that. And then I also work with Rain Energy, and this is this year as well. So I had to call all these people and explain the situation. And obviously I felt so bad. And to me, it was fine. I was just like, you know what, we'll just lay it down, and you guys don't have to pay me anything, and we'll pick it up later. And they were all supportive, and they were like, we've been working together for so many years. Yeah. It's all good. And I will be doing some extra posts in the next coming months to catch up, or we just figure it out in that way.
100%.
But back then when it happened, they were all just like, we support you. Just talk to us again when you're feeling better, and we'll figure it out.
Nice.
And that's great, because you don't want to like figure all those in that stage. But yeah, sometimes you have to. But they were all so nice. So I'm blessed with those sponsors. Yeah.
But that's also probably because, as you said, you work with companies that you really like yourself. You build a long-term relationship with them. You're not there to get a quick buck, right? Because if you were there just to get as much money out of them short-term as possible, they would have told you, sorry, dude, but goodbye.
Yeah.
So it's a good mindset again, I think.
So you had the obviously YouTube part, business part of that sort of falling away for how much that was worth. You've had Alter, you launched that, so that's good. And you had the coaching business is by far the biggest revenue stream, I guess. Mm-hmm. So how did that?
So with Visualising, we have coaching, but then we also have the best-selling books. So we have coaching, we have books, also ebooks. We have fitness gear and clothing.
Okay, yeah. So that's a lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff, yeah.
So basically, I mean, you can go into it as in much depth as possible, or as whatever you want to say. But how are your revenue streams summed up, like percentage-wise? What is the most interesting? What is the biggest part, and what's the smallest part, and how is everything in between?
So Visualising is the biggest part. Alter, we just started, so it's obviously not comparable to any of them yet. Sponsor deals are still really high as well. So if we put it into like a pie,
in a pie chart.
I'm gonna maybe have to do this in like a separate podcast or video to be exactly sure. I'd say that then Visualising is like 70%.
Oh damn, nice.
Yeah, 60-70%. Then the sponsor deals are like 20%, I'd say. And then the rest,
okay.
I think something like that.
But those other
so
also
Visualising is by far the biggest.
Yeah.
But you're also still building up the last two, right? So that only makes sense.
Yeah. Well, and the sponsor deals I'm not building up anymore. That's just what it is, and it's just maintenance.
Yeah.
But and the thing with certain sponsorships as well, and I think you just have the three best examples, which in terms of the niches they're in, like clothing, supplements, and obviously drinks, which is even more specific to whatever your diet is. So it is so easy to use those products and to promote them because you actually use them every single day. And it is like, it's basically saying like, do you want to sponsor me for wearing these clothes? Am I getting paid for wearing clothes, or am I not getting paid for wearing clothes? And you're going to wear clothes either way. So that's actually why I think like those three are the most important. Lots of people have very specific products and stuff like that, and then you have to promote that, and everyone's like, all right, this is an ad. Makes sense. But in the way for certain things, I mean, you have jewelry right now. Is that a company of yourself as well?
No, it's not. I got this one for my girlfriend. Yeah.
Nice.
But you Forge London, right?
Yeah, Forge London.
Wait, I'm not getting paid to wear these clothes.
You're not getting paid to wear these clothes.
Oh, you guys have Forge London shirts. Also.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I mean,
come on, man, cut it.
Come on, dude. We'll talk off camera about this.
But exactly, like I think that's a good example. So, and why would you like if your YouTube presence or Instagram presence would grow significantly out of nowhere, or just because you're focusing on that again? Obviously, you can work on that and grow that revenue stream. But if it's going all right now and your focus is somewhere else, like that's just smart.
I just love focusing on the business aspect. And for me, YouTube has it wasn't my passion anymore. The videos that I was making, and I was looking at you, and like it was so awesome what you were doing, especially when I was here. I was even here during that time when I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, and I saw you killing it on YouTube, and I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. But then I was like, this is not what I want to do. You know what I mean? And that's great to realize that as well, because everybody wants something different, and you need to follow that energy instead of do something because people expect it, or I'm already on YouTube, I have a big following, so why not leverage it? And but there's it's just so important, man.
It is easy to get hyped on something and thinking, damn, I could do it as well, and you just want to pull that off in like a month. But that's like the short term again, which we talked about. And knowing that and acknowledging that is probably one of the most important things, so you can focus on that long term. And that's what you're doing right now. So that's pretty epic.
Yeah. Cool. I think we're going to go to our closing questions.
Yes.
And we have a few standard questions. Maybe you've heard them before, but the first one: what is your superpower?
What do you excel at? What are you better at? You can brag. you can say whatever.
I'd say my superpower is storytelling. I love telling stories. I'm decently good at telling stories, bringing emotion into it, giving examples of things. just really taking people with me on a journey. And that's what I've been doing for many years with my vlogs. You know, you create different sort of content. You're very good at storytelling, you know, and you have your own unique way of doing that. So I think it's one of your skills as well. And I think I've always been able to really captivate an audience, and yeah.
Exactly. Cool. So that's an interesting thing, because storytelling is super broad. Storytelling, I mean, can I write an intro, a middle part, an ending? Can I connect everything properly? But storytelling with emotion and evoking those, that's what I think you're really good at.
Yeah, it's mostly that. It's mostly that.
That's
hitting
really,
people on their emotions.
Exactly.
And also making people feel relatable. So and this is why I'm able to inspire people so good, because I'm able to hit them on that level. Because people never make decisions or whatever it is in their lives based on facts. It's always based on emotions.
100%.
And that's so important also in the business part of it, but in the personal part also. It's just, emotions are just so important, you know, to keep that in mind and to be able to also create a connection with people, because you don't have a connection when you don't include any emotion. You know
I mean, with business, you buy on emotion, you justify with reason.
Exactly.
So you buy first out the emotion, and then, you know, you start to try and justify and have reasoning, which is also so important in business, that, you know, your product or service, if you're going to do coaching and if they're going to pay you a shit ton of money for one-on-one, it's an emotion like, cool, I'm going to work with Merijn, I'm happy. And then if it takes 3 weeks or 4 weeks for you to start taking action, that's the rational part kicking in, and they're just going to cancel and they're going to tell everyone. So definitely, I think the storytelling part, I mean, I think we've even witnessed it today, right? It's very strong on your end. But then, of course, you have to execute as well. And I think from what I've heard, that's also something you're pretty good at. So
that's business.
So.
Yeah, because like one other superpower could be just believing in myself. Because I truly believe in myself. And this is why I'm able to get shit done, you know? If I say I'm going to do something, I know I'll make it happen. Yeah. And it might sound a bit cocky.
No, that's definitely a superpower. 100%.
100%.
Because I've realized only in the last couple of years that not many people are like this, you know. And this is why I love sharing this with people and helping people with this, because I think it's so important, man. At the end of the day, I'm not the smartest guy, but I just execute. And if I just have a vision and a goal, I'll just go for it, you know. And I always believe in it, even if nothing seems like it never seemed reasonable that I would become a successful YouTuber, because I live in a small city, just like you.
That you can make it
you live in
job.
a small city and you make it your job, like while you're in university, living with your parents, and then make it happen anyway. And yeah, man, it's crazy.
Okay, so, I mean, this could be an interesting question. This is also one of the hardest questions we have, because people have no clue what to answer, but you are in a lot of different niches. What is going to be the next big thing?
Well, I mean, I think VR is going to be really big at some point, you know, and that's building up.
Yeah, you got Facebook.
I'm not doing anything necessarily with that yet, but it's definitely a trend that I'm gonna hop on then. Yeah,
you got Facebook turning into Meta.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm really happy about, because I'm in the NFT space.
It's a very interesting world, the VR, and I mean, as what it is right now, I don't think it will be as big, but I think it's going to change, and then we will adapt it. So we get it's not necessarily like having these big goggles on, because that's not going to work. That's not going to work.
Nah. It's going to be different than we expect it to be. You know?
Because you have VR, so virtual reality and augmented reality.
Yes.
I believe maybe more augmented long term. VR for games and all those kind of things, but augmented reality is what they can already do. It's scary.
Exactly, yeah.
But then you still have to put that into, so it's either going to be in the real world, or you have to put in some contact lenses.
Yeah, contact lenses. They're already working on it.
Which you're working on,
Yeah, so there is crazy stuff happening in there.
All right, but I mean, that was a good answer. Thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for inviting me. I love what you guys do, so keep up the great work, man.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
That was an awesome podcast.
For sure,
I hope people liked it.
And all the links to Merijn, everything, well, I'm not sure if it's all businesses, but all important businesses will be in the show notes, in the description.
All the links.
As much as my social media links.
Yeah, we will.
Make sure to check that out. Thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye bye.